And so it was not about copyright, so we got rid of most of the bits that were copyright related. And the Bono amendment, Amendment 138 I showed you, was voted by a very strong majority of 88% of the members of European Parliament, which is 574 for and 73 against, which is a very, very high number. And in the people voting against, you had all the anti-Europe right-wing nut jobs. You had some of the centrists, the Vivendists around Janelli Fourtou and the other very, very close from Vivendi interests. You had some extreme right, fascisto, whatever, and you had the whole block of the French right-wing UMP. So it was a kind of French right-wing against the rest of Europe on this point, which was another proof that it was clearly about serving the interest that Nicolas Sarkozy was trying to serve by imposing this graduated response scheme. So we were quite happy with this, but this was not the final step for us, as it is not the final step for the directive itself. We managed to trigger some, how's it called again, roll call votes. A roll call vote is a vote where instead of just raising your hand to say for or against, you have to press those shiny little buttons.
You call it e-voting.
Yeah, kind of local parliament-centric e-voting. And so we managed to trigger roll call votes on, let's say, 99% of all the amendments we cared about, in order to be able to present the results on, so this is political memory I told you about, in order to present the results MEP by MEP, country by country, political group by political group, and be able to give scores to everyone. You know, in a culture where numbers matter so much, and it's about efficiency, and as a matter of fact, a few months before a European election, it could be very useful for people to know who votes what when it comes to legislating like crap. No, you cannot say crap in a mic. Making bad laws about the internet. So you can see here that the Green Group is the first one with 85 out of 100. The Nordic Green Left and the group of the European United Left, it's the far left, is just beyond. Then you get the non-attached members that contain the fascists. Then you get the independent. We also sorted them by members of European Parliament. So you do not see the first and the second one, and Marcus Blue my cover, because the first one was Jean-Marie Le Pen and the second one was his daughter, Marine Le Pen. So, but right afterwards are a lot of green to clean up the mess. And so those notes were attributed given quite an elaborate ponderation. And hello again, Gibus, if you're watching. And thank you again. You see here the coefficients that were given according to the importance we set on the different amendments, which allowed us, this is the score for Janelli Fourtou, the Vivendi girl I told you about. So I guess, final score is 26. Not bad. Could have been worse. And we really do help, we really do hope that this will help people in the upcoming election process, and also in understanding how the political and legislative process goes along when it comes to legislating. But we really also hope that for the next steps, it will help us to get better influence on the second reading of the package itself. Maybe Marcus, you can make a few comments at this point on the campaign by itself, and then we will talk about the perspectives for the package and the rest of our actions.
Okay, there will be a second reading. We have no clue when it will be, but the European elections are at the end of May, so we think it's about between beginning of April and the end of April. so before Eastern or after Eastern. The most important time will be between the middle of January and the middle of February, because then the parliament is debating within the circles or the changing amendments and what came from the member states of the European Union. So we need every helping hand to help us. There are always some formal things when La Quadrature du Net releases press texts, for example. They are almost in French or in English, so we have a more or less international language with English within the European Union, but we need people who translate it very fast to several languages, for example, Germany. We need more people who do this. We need designers, so we don't have to do the design too. We need people who can do it better than us to help us prepare more stickers, buttons, banners, and videos, mashup videos. We got some, but they could be better.
Stickers.
We need more stickers. We need money. We need money to fund apartments or hotel rooms in Brussels, to pay for internet and stuff like that. We can do it without money, but it would be easier to do it with money. So it's not always the best thing to sleep in a sleeping bag on the floor if you have to wear a suit and to go back to the parliament on the next day. We need more help to inform the members of parliament. So we need more group dynamic things that lots of people call the MEPs. That's your chance. We have the introduction Jermaine showed. You just need to call your members of parliament. It's very easy. You just need to read the text we provide you. You just need to insert your name. Not just read the name. Yeah.
Yeah, and so in order to take action, we really noticed that the most important thing for a member of European Parliament is to have real persons, so to say, citizens, concerned citizens, and not lobbyists who call them. And you cannot imagine the impression it makes on them to have a honest, real citizen who is not used to talk legal, complex matters and who is not a speech rehearsed 100 times before. Just say, hey, there is a problem, look at this, what can you do? I voted for you, do something for me now, please.
And I will vote for you maybe. Next month. The elections are a great chance for us to demand a free internet.
So I guess we have some extra time because we waited for the microphone. So it means we will have time for questions, but I think it's about time to conclude by now. So please subscribe to our RSS feed. Please come and check our wiki often. Please subscribe to our mailing list. Come to our chat room. How do you say this in? Yeah, on RSC, but how do you say the character? Dash? Yeah, dash La Quadrature on freenode.net. Please send us email when you find something that is going wrong. Send us patches if you find grammar errors or translation errors or something. And remember that La Quadrature is your quadrature. It is a toolbox. It is a big hunch of code. And as every code, you can help improving it and contribute to the repository. So let's talk again about this, I hope, around the second reading and all the upcoming legislations, because our opponents will never stop attacking us. But we have to keep in mind that whatever happens, in the end, we win. Thank you very much.
So, questions?
We have time for questions, I know that.
We have 2 mics.
No question from Benjamin. Anyone else than Benjamin for a question? There's a question over there. Please take a mic for the people watching the stream. Oh.
You have to come here.
Thanks. You said that the election might be a good chance to elect the better people next time, but isn't it also a risk factor that you have to start again convincing a lot of new members of the European Parliament, etc.? What do you think about it? Is it more chance or more risk? What is your impression? What is your feeling?
Oh, I think it's both. For example, Ruth Hieronymus, the most evil Christian conservative member of parliament, she drops out. So maybe we have luck to get more competent and more internet-friendly member of parliament for the cultural conservative positions. Otherwise, we hope that there will be more younger people coming into the parliament. Because younger people more understand the value of a free internet, they have more integrated the internet into their lives, and they are easier to convince than old people who have no clue what it is about. So we will see.
And to add on Marcus, it's up to us to make those stakes be into the campaign. There is room for us to make internet and digital technology regulation a campaign argument. I hope in the next months you will see platforms and tools and initiatives that will help those issues being raised, and then before the vote people will be able to ask, hey, you're a candidate, what will you do about internet? What would have you done on the telecoms package? What would you do on this and these issues? So it's everybody's opportunity to do so. And right before an election, you would be impressed on how receptive the politicians seem to be. And so if you ask them a question and they answer, of course I do care, of course I love you, of course I will vote for what you're talking about, you can note it down, you know? You can publish it on the internet because the internet never forgets. Yes? No, I said no question from Benjamin.
Okay, just in relation to Clause 5 of the directive in terms of the requirement to inform customers about restrictions on the use of lawful content and applications. Now, obviously this is going to be sold as being a protection, in fact, of consumer rights, okay? And it is the case that in a lot of European jurisdictions there is throttling taking place of peer-to-peer services, and there are other restrictions being placed on voice over IP services and things like that. So I just want to ask if you talk a little bit about this, and also I think there's going to be a very important point to be very clear on in terms of the campaign and the literature, because of course any type of reference to lawful content means that it's creating the context for the persecution of so-called unlawful content, but we've got to keep the two things absolutely clear. I mean, I'm from Ireland. My internet service is using deep packet inspection in order to throttle peer-to-peer traffic, and this is going to be a real issue for a lot of people. So I think if you could talk a little bit about that, and also be really clear with the literature about it.
I thank you so much for your question, because this is a major point I forgot to make. I forgot to make in my presentation. Actually, the second reading of the telecoms package will happen in the next few weeks and months, and there are some first signals at the very moment that this specific issue of network neutrality